Are you tired of weak, watered-down coffee? Blackout coffee is bold, it is fresh, and it is roasted right here in Florida. Shipped fast to all 50 states. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/scroll and use code SCROLL for 20% off your first order. Don't settle. Upgrade your coffee now. Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to Nightly Scroll. I'm Hayley Caronia. If you're watching on X and on Facebook, come over and join everyone on Rumble. We're all hanging out in the chat. So join us. Rumble.com/Hayley is the only place you can watch Nightly Scroll in full. So go to the Bongino Report channel. Make sure you're subscribed so that you never miss a show. Of course, if you can't catch us at 6 p.m., I get it. A lot of people are making dinner. They're working. I get it. Listen whenever you want on Rumble or on your favorite podcast platform. No matter where you listen, though, go to the other platforms. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you give 5 stars. You leave a nice comment. Like the chat, everything. Do everything that you can do and send the show to a friend. We're trying to build something here, and I already love all of my homies, so I want more of them, okay? Okay, unfortunately, horrific attack in Michigan at a Mormon church yesterday morning. Also, the FBI is reportedly investigating Jim Comey again, this time for his honeypot scheme to trap Trump officials. This is according to a whistleblower. Also, Serena Williams, tennis star, she embarrassed herself big time at a New York City hotel complaining about a cotton plant. We're going to get into that. Also, AI actresses are apparently the hot new commodity in Hollywood. They're coming for our jobs, okay? AI is coming. I don't like it. I'm scared. We're going to talk about it. Put your phones on Do Not Disturb. Nightly Scroll starts now. Yeah, so unfortunately, a 40-year-old Marine veteran attacked a Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc Township in Michigan. You could see the video there of the horrific flames. The flames engulfed almost the entire church. And the killer is from Burton, which is 6 miles away from where the attack took place. Police say that the attacker rammed his Chevy Silverado pickup truck with 2 American flags in the bed of the truck into the church. He got out of the car and then opened fire on the congregation there. And the special agent in charge of the Detroit Field Division of the ATF, James Dyer, said the killer also used or appeared to have used an accelerant to start the fire. And he also confirmed that there were some IEDs found at the scene of the attack. At least 4 people were killed, 2 shot, and 8 others were injured. And officers ended up killing that man responsible in the parking lot behind the church afterwards. And they responded in just minutes, but of course not before this horrific attack took place. So the FBI special agent in charge of that Detroit field office said that the Bureau is looking for a motive. I know this is kind of frustrating for everyone because it's like you see that, we're going to get into some of his comments that he made allegedly about, anti-Mormon comments, but, people kind of, it's human nature. You want to figure out why someone would do something so horrible like this. And people are trying to piece this all together. And certainly the law enforcement is trying to do that. But here's what we know now. He joined the Marine Corps in 2004. He was a organizational automotive mechanic and also a vehicle recovery operator. He was deployed from August 2007 to March 2008 in Iraq. He also became a sergeant. He had his last duty assignment at Camp Lejeune in North Carolina. And he left the military in June of 2008. So he's been out of the service for a while, but he racked up some awards while he was in the service. The Marine Corps Good Conduct Medal, Sea Service Deployment Ribbon, Iraq Campaign Medal, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, National Defense Service Medal. This is all according to military records. And this is where we're starting to piece together maybe this guy's motive a little bit. I mean, not according to law enforcement, but just some rumblings that we're hearing that this Burton City Council candidate, Chris Johns, said that he met the killer while campaigning door to door on September 22nd, so just last week. And while they were talking, this guy, Chris Johns, said that the conversation quickly steered to the Mormon Church. And this killer asked Chris Johns about the Mormon Church and then said repeatedly, according to this guy, that Mormons are the Antichrist. So he kept saying that. And then according to White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, she says that investigators are looking into his feelings about the Latter-day Saints and how this ties into the attack. She went on Fox and Friends earlier this morning and said this: from what I understand, based on my conversations with the FBI director, all they know right now is this was an individual who hated people of the Mormon Church. And the FBI Detroit field office is asking for tips from the public. It's horrible. I feel like we're living in just a horror movie simulation. It doesn't even seem real that so many horrible tragedies can happen in the last 2 weeks. Like, it just doesn't even feel, this isn't normal, you know? And it just seems like every day there's a new shooting or a new killing, a new attack, something like that. And I don't know how we got here, but we have to put a stop to this. And I don't have all the answers. No one has the answers. But I don't know how someone could be that hateful, right? Every American should be able to worship however they see fit without being gunned down in the process. This is the United States of America. Freedom to practice your religion is protected under the First Amendment. We have seen in the past few weeks this resurgence of faith. And, after Charlie Kirk's death, people are vowing to buy a Bible for the first time, or at least open one if they hadn't for a long time. People were finding churches, seeking out church and religion, trying to find God, I think, because it just feels like our society is so godless right now. People are trying to look towards a higher power, whatever that may be, for these people, because it just seems like we need answers. We need faith. We need a community to rely on. We need something.
Do you feel it's coincidence with the spiritual warfare that, the other side fights too? As soon as there's a tick up in this curiosity about what faith is like, you mentioned how many of these, I've lost count. I couldn't even give you a sequential order of events over the last month of things like this that have happened. It's terrible to say. Yeah,
it is really, really terrible to say. And sometimes it's this political motivation. Sometimes it's this religious motivation. You see we had 2 transgender killers shoot up Christian schools. The one in Nashville, the one in Minneapolis. It's just horrible. And then we see this, and I don't know where this man stood, if he hates religion altogether, or if he himself is a Christian that just hates Mormons, or if I don't know what his religious affiliation is, if he has one at all. But it's just horrible. And, like I was saying, people are going to church for the first time in years. Erica Kirk posted on X yesterday, she said something along the lines of, everyone go to church, or something like, please go to church, urging people to go and seek faith. And for people who have maybe just gone to church for the first time in the last few weeks, please do not let these senseless attacks deter you. We cannot live in fear. And I truly hope that if you were finding faith, that this doesn't turn you away after an incident like this. If anything, these are the moments where you have to find faith. You need a community to lean on. So I pray for this church community as they mourn the loss of the members of the church and the church, their place of worship altogether. This is going to be a massive rebuilding undertaking. So, the people who carry out these attacks are so far from God. They are so mentally ill, so damaged. And I don't know, maybe this had something to do with the fact that he was a veteran and he was deployed, and maybe he was struggling with some kind of PTSD. He was deployed in 2007. So, this did take a very long time for this to happen. I don't know where, maybe he was radicalized in some way. It's just very sad to think about how these people can fall off and get off on the wrong track and carry out something like this.
He's a 40-year-old Iraqi war veteran. And so this guy is, he's been overseas. He's had combat experience. A lot of those guys battle a lot of mental instability. But we'll hold and see what comes out of this. But it is a horrific scene. Can you imagine just the loss of life? But what a terrible scene to see the church, all the structure of that and what it represents also just burn.
I know, and it's a huge church too. Yeah, it's horrible. So yeah, we'll stay on this. Obviously, when more information comes out, we'll bring it to you. But yeah, it's just absolutely horrible. And we're gonna have Scott Bryson on Thursday for our segment. But we talk about this all the time of like what to do in a situation like this. So I do want to ask him, if it's a place of worship. Oh, it's just horrible. I don't even want to think about it. But people don't carry. I have friends who carry at church. They're not supposed to, but they do.
Well, the interesting thing about this, I was just talking to Justin about it. So much of this is a gun issue, and like they want to make it a gun issue, and it's a mental health issue and a spiritual issue. This guy drove his car, I believe, through the front door or through a door of the church, and it was loaded. It was almost like a bomb. It was loaded with gasoline, I believe, and that's what's compelled all of this to erupt in flames. And then he got out and started shooting. So I mean, it's just it's a terrible situation, but it just goes to show that we really are at a precipice here of and it's not just gun violence. There's a paradigm shift that seems to be happening in a very negative way, and America needs to pray their way through this.
I know. There's really nothing else to say other than that. Let's just leave it at that. I think we have to pray that, pray for this community, obviously, but pray for just everyone to find God. Seriously. I want to talk about this whistleblower. Apparently there's an FBI whistleblower that spoke to a congressional investigation, and apparently James Comey is in more hot water this time, allegedly involved in his own honeypot trap to get Trump. So here's the headline: FBI investigating claims of Comey-era honeypot operation against Trump 2016 campaign. So there was a disclosure that was obtained by Fox News, and this FBI employee said that there was an off-the-books investigation. So this wasn't where everyone could see it and everyone knew. This was like a secret campaign going on in the FBI when President Trump was running in 2016. And this whistleblower said that he was a part of it, and that James Comey had ordered a probe into President Trump. He personally directed it shortly after President Trump was running for president. That seems very odd to me. Does it seem odd to anybody else? Literally, like when the left talks about being the resistance against Trump, there was a resistance in the government. And I firmly believe that James Comey and all of his cronies were a part of it. But this whistleblower claimed that 2 FBI agents were inserted into the high levels of the Trump campaign, and they were directed to act as honeypots to travel with President Trump and his campaign staff. Then a media outlet, it doesn't say which media outlet, but a media outlet caught wind of this and apparently was about to expose this because they obtained a photograph of one of the agents. They were going to go public with it, and then the investigation was halted. The investigation was then closed because I guess the FBI under James Comey didn't want that to get out, that they were investigating and trying to essentially trap a presidential candidate. The whistleblower said, they were directed to not discuss this operation with anyone because, of course, this was secret. But the FBI did not comment. Fox News asked for a comment this morning, but they did not comment. Isn't that interesting that James Comey, James Comey's been indicted. Not for this, though. James Comey was indicted for lying under oath, but it just goes to show how corrupt this man is. He hated Trump from the very beginning. Before he even, as soon as he announced himself as a candidate, it seems like Comey had him, as a target.
100%. Like, James Comey's, he's being indicted on leaking information through his deputy director to the New York Times. That was fake. And lied about it in 2017, lied about it again in 2020. And so they've got him for that. But also, remember those burn bags that were full of information? I mean, we have a detailed understanding of what happened with the presidential daily briefings involving Comey and Clapper and Brennan, all the way up to, when Trump was the president-elect, and Russia and Hillary. I mean, this stuff is, people have written, Dan was a preeminent individual in educating the United States on what was going on with this. He wrote a book about it. This is a major, major, major deal, and he's at the center of it.
Well, now he's in a prime position to actually get these people.
Take
and we're
the fall.
seeing that with Comey. And certainly others are next. There's got to be the Andy McCabe and the Brennan and the Clapper and all these people that were involved, because they were all involved. And it goes all the way up to Obama, by the way.
100% it does. And that's not our conjecture. I believe that's evidence that we think the FBI has about all of that. I mean, it's
about to get good. I think the movie is about to get good. This is going to be the good chapter. So I'm looking forward to that. I mean, we're finding out so many things too about the FBI under James Comey, under Christopher Wray. Just last week there was that report that there were hundreds of FBI agents, almost 300 of them, in the crowd on January 6th, and they were being used for crowd control, which FBI Director Kash Patel has said that is not in their job description. But this was all under Christopher Wray, which just goes to show how poorly the FBI was being run. And President Trump posted on Truth Social that Christopher Wray, being the FBI director, was actually Chris Christie's idea. He said it was sloppy, Chris Christie's idea. So apparently, Chris Christie.
Well, we hadn't blamed Chris Christie on anything in a while. So it was good to sort of get him. Come on, Chris, get back in the hunt.
We missed you.
Let's make you relevant for like at least one. Yeah, let's get you relevant for at least one post.
Relevant for all the wrong reasons. But anyway, I want to go into. Well, Andy sent me this video today, and we're gonna play a little game with the chat. We're gonna play this video. You're gonna guess which city in the good old US of A it is. So everyone watch this. If you are listening and not watching, the person filming this video is descending into a hellscape, a crack den, I don't even know what. Like, it's a underpass. It's an underpass, a pedestrian underpass that is filled with trash, people, beds, it seems, mattresses, clothes, a bike, garbage. I can smell this video, by the way, and it does not smell good. Here are some people in the chat guessing Philly, Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, Philadelphia again, Chicago again, California, San Diego,
Any way that you look at
Portland,
this, Haley, it looks apocalyptic.
Vegas. Oh, it's horrible.
I mean,
Phoenix.
this looks like a zombie movie apocalypse.
Ugh, like look at all the crap on there's like crud on the stairs too. It's just absolutely gross. San Francisco, people are guessing. Well, it's Portland, Oregon, and that's exactly where President Trump deployed the National Guard to combat Antifa. That has been, and we played a video on this show. This was weeks ago, maybe even months ago. Do you remember it was that black woman in Portland, Oregon, and she was screaming at the protesters, being like, we can't sleep. You are so loud. I have to find the video, and maybe I'll play it tomorrow. But she is so fed up in this video. This woman is like at her wit's end with all these protesters that are banging pots and pans. They're setting off whatever the hell, fireworks and whatever. They're yelling, they're chanting in front of this ICE detention center in Portland, Oregon. And, this has been happening for months. And it is on almost a nightly basis. Just based off of that video, you can tell these people are tired. The people who are living in that area who have to deal with this every day are tired. They are tired of it. And, with everything that happened last week with the Dallas ICE facility that was shot up, President Trump said no more. So this is in response to another protest that was outside of this ICE detention center in Portland, Oregon. And President Trump said this. He posted this on Truth Social saying, at the request of Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, I am directing Secretary of War Pete Hegseth to provide all necessary troops to protect war-ravaged Portland and any of our ICE facilities under siege from attack by Antifa and other domestic terrorists. I'm also authorizing full force if necessary. Thank you for your attention to this matter. His sign off there. And if this tells you anything, okay, so X and Facebook, if you are here on X or Facebook, hello, welcome to Nightly Scroll. I'm Hayley Caronia. If you want to watch the full show, because it's going to cut off at some point, you got to do it on Rumble. So rumble.com/Hayley is where you can watch Nightly Scroll in full, and you can watch it every weeknight, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope you do. So if anyone new is watching tonight, welcome. Hello.